Hello everyone. Before I get started, for anyone with any doubts, this meme I created is pretty much the TLDR of the video. A few weeks back, when armed yet peaceful protesters marched in the Michigan state capitol against Governor Whitmer's draconian stay-at-home orders, they were condemned by the media as a bunch of selfish, entitled man-children who want grinding to die so they can get haircuts and rich people can keep their stock portfolios. But they also went so far as to even accuse them of being racist by pointing out that many of the protesters had signs with swastikas, while, of course, conveniently leaving out the fact that said swastikas were on signs that compared Governor Whitmer to a certain mustachioed German dictator. It serves them right, though. I mean, how dare those people not want to become homeless and starve to death from having their right to earn a living taken away in the name of protecting them from a flu-like virus with an 0.2% fatality rate? Of course, after what they tried to do to Nick Sandman last year, nothing surprises me anymore in terms of what these lying smear merchants are capable of. Though at least in that case, Nick seems to be getting a last laugh on that. Fast forward to the last few days, and now you have the mainstream media making excuses for these rioters and looters by claiming that they are the voices of the unheard. While there are a lot of protesters who do care about the fact that George Floyd was murdered and are understandably outraged, the fact is that none of the rioters and looters give a shit about George Floyd or any of the other countless victims of police misconduct. If they actually did, why are they burning down and looting homes and businesses in their own neighborhoods, which had nothing whatsoever to do with what happened? Why are they doing everything possible to make conditions again in their own neighborhoods even worse than they already were before? Answer's obvious, but nobody in the media wants to say it because it goes against their cultural Marxist narrative. The rioters aren't the voices of the unheard. They're the voices of selfish, entitled thugs that are exploiting the death of an unarmed black man so they can get free shit while playing the victim instead of taking personal responsibility. To all the people that are so hellbent on excusing them, how would you feel if it was your own home or business looted? Some Korean American business owners in LA found out exactly what that's like during the Rodney King riots in 1992. They tried to call the police multiple times, but the police refused to do their jobs. These business owners armed themselves, got on top of the roofs of their businesses and homes, and defended their lives and property. This other meme I created, which you now see, pretty much sums it up. Both the murder of George Floyd as well as the riots are reminders of just how important it is to protect the Second Amendment. The Founding Fathers, contrary to what some these days seem to believe, didn't stutter when they wrote the words, "shall not be infringed." But there is a double standard, some of you will claim. Nothing happened to those armed Michigan protesters. Yes, nothing happened to those armed Michigan protesters, but you want to know why nothing happened to them? It had very little to do with their skin color and everything to do with the fact that they were armed. Matter of fact, there was another armed protest in the Michigan state capitol the other day. This one a peaceful protest against police brutality with armed black men, and just like the other armed protest, nobody was arrested. Anyway, link to the article about that story is in the description of this video. And if we want police brutality and these kinds of riots to stop, we have to start following the example of the armed protesters and the rooftop Koreans and more vigorously use and defend our Second Amendment rights and stop relying on the police to defend ourselves and our families. Courts have ruled over and over again that the police have no legal duty to protect us, which begs the question of why they have such power. And why are there so many cities and states that have so many unconstitutional restrictions on firearms? It's no coincidence that the cities and states that have the strictest gun control laws are also the ones with both the highest violent crime rates and the worst problems with police brutality.